And in deep appreciation, we will now begin this transmission with what we have titled the formula. Many of you have heard us talk about how important it is, how crucial it is to act on your highest passion, follow your highest excitement. And we have delved into, from many different directions, why this is crucial in life. Because excitement is the vibration, your physical translation of the vibration of your true self, your true frequency. It is also your physical body's translation of communication from the higher mind. That's how it translates. When the higher mind is communicating with you, it translates as that sensation you call excitement, creativity, love, passion, joy. But the idea is that we have perceived that sometimes there can be some misunderstandings, a little bit of lack of clarity about the specifics of following the formula, the three-part formula that we have often delivered. The three-part formula being that you act on your highest passion every moment that you can, to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to be, how you need to get where you're going, or any such specific idea being held on to. This three-part formula, as we have said, will activate the kit of excitement, the complete kit that contains all the tools necessary. But in these three parts, we have discovered that sometimes there perhaps are different interpretations about what those different parts actually represent or refer to. So today, we would like to dig a little deeper, delve a little deeper, and explain, based on what you have before you as your handout, some more specific ideas about what each segment actually refers to. This may not even necessarily be everything, every specific detail, but it will be a good start to help clarify the concept a little bit more. So, Nania, do you have your handout? Come up and read, if you will be willing to assist. All right, so under the first part of the formula, to act on your passion, what is the first subheading? Everyone can follow along.
You're talking about number 1, right?
Yes.
Okay. Take action on the opportunity that contains the highest excitement.
Yes, that's the principle itself. What is the first subheading?
The highest excitement doesn't have to come in the form of a project or a career.
Yes, this is very important to understand because very often people will say, well, I don't know what my excitement is. And often they are thinking that it has to come in a specific recognizable form, some kind of a life-spanning career or long-term project, or come with trumpets blowing. No. When we talk about the idea of acting on your excitement, your highest excitement, we mean it can be as simple as every moment of every day you have a number of options available to you that you are able to take some action on. Very basic, very simple. It can be reading a book, having lunch with a friend, talking to someone, taking a walk on the beach. Whatever option contains even just a little bit more excitement than any other option at that level, that's the one to act on first. Because the more excitement it contains than any other is telling you through the synchronicity tool of excitement that this is the order in which to act on these options. The one that contains the most excitement, that has the greatest ability to be acted upon, is the first one to act on. And it can be step by step, very simple. When you do that, it may lead to larger and larger and larger representations of excitement coming in different forms that will be more apparent, more obvious to you. But really all we mean is you can take it a step at a time on every level, even the most basic level, and just at every moment act on the one that contains the most excitement, more than any other excitement you have the greatest ability to do something about. That's really all it means, step by step, and it will lead to other representations and other experiences and other opportunities that will allow you to express your excitement in grander ways. And the next subheading
is as long as an option contains even a little more excitement than any other option, act on it first.
That's as we just said. Again, this is easy to do. We will assume, we may be wrong, but we will assume that you're all here today because this is what it excited you to do. But when you leave this transmission, this interaction today, again, you will have a number of options available to you. The only thing you need to do to activate this principle is just look at all the options and just choose to act on the one that contains more excitement than any other, even if it's only just a little bit. That will be your clue and your indication that comes first. Because again, one of the tools, as we will point out again later, is that excitement carries the organizing principle through synchronicity. And it will show you exactly in what order things need to be done, when they need to be done, and thus anything that doesn't fit in that day when you're done doesn't need to be done that day. It truly organizes your life automatically. The next subheading.
Excitement is your body's physical translation of a communication from your higher mind.
People on your planet ask all the time, how can I get a sign from my higher mind? How can I learn to communicate with my higher mind? How can I learn to recognize communication from it? I don't know. It must be difficult. Not at all. The things that excite you the most is actually your translation of that communication. So, when you're willing to act on the thing that contains the highest excitement, that is actually you paying attention to the message from your higher mind that's guiding you from a higher position, a broader point of view, saying, do this now, do this next, do this next. This is the order that works best for you. And when you act on that excitement to the best of your ability, with zero insistence on the outcome, that is actually your response to the higher mind. That's going, I hear you loud and clear, and so I will act on that, knowing that you are guiding me. And when you then respond to the higher mind through that action, because you are physical, so action must be taken to demonstrate your commitment to receive that communication from the higher mind. When you do that, then the higher mind knows you're listening, knows you're paying attention, and it can start giving you more things to act on that contain more excitement. But if you're not paying attention, if you're not acting on the excitement that it presents to you, that it communicates to you, why should it give you more? It would be pointless. So the higher mind will always wait for you to demonstrate that you've heard the higher mind through the translation of excitement, and that you are willing to respond to the higher mind through your actions. And then you start that dialogue going, and you start the ball rolling, and you start the momentum, and it will accelerate and accelerate and expand from there. And next,
check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making anxiety appear to be excitement.
This is crucial because many people will be afraid to face their fears because of negative belief systems within themselves about what it is they think they will encounter if they go exploring those things. And so many times they will gloss those anxieties, those fear-based beliefs over. They will ignore them. They will deny that they're there. They will not want to explore them, not want to admit that they're there. And so even though they may actually be feeling anxious, they may attempt to avoid looking at it or investigating it by making it appear or labeling it as my excitement. You have to be very clear in discerning within yourself what is truly excitement-based and what may be anxiety or fear-based. This is absolutely crucial, as is its reciprocal,
which is check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making excitement appear to be anxiety through fear-based definitions.
Yes, many people on your planet will not be willing to act on their excitement because of fear-based definitions of what they think will happen if they do. Something bad will happen, or this will happen, or I'll lose this, or people will laugh at me or judge me, or I won't belong, and everyone will walk away from me, and many other different kinds of fear-based beliefs if you are actually acting on your excitement. But the idea then is to, again, in the reverse, make sure that you are not dampening down your excitement, the things that could actually be what will give you the best possible life, just because you have a definition that isn't actually a definition of excitement. This is the irony. This is the paradox, is many people say, well, yes, I would love to act on my highest excitement, but if I do, I'm afraid that something bad will happen. That's not a definition of excitement. It's a different definition. You have to understand that in the purest form, excitement, by definition, cannot contain anything that would actually create a negative experience. So if you're making an association of a negative potential experience to the idea of excitement, then the definition you have created is actually not a real definition of excitement. It's a different kind of definition based on that fear-based belief. So be clear within yourself that you are not damping down your excitement by having an erroneous definition of it, by attaching negative definitions to it that don't belong there. Does this make sense to you? I'm sorry? Yes. Thank you. And so, the next principle?
All right, the next, number 2,
Yes.
is act on that excitement to the best of your ability.
All right, now, as you can see in this diagram, there is a lot of clarification in this particular section, because there are many different interpretations on your planet from different people about what acting on it to the best of your ability actually means. What is the first subheading?
Well, the first subheading is use all your skills, talents, imagination, and abilities in taking action.
Yes. Basically, this translates to the idea that if you actually are passionate about something, really, truly, you will use everything you've got. You will stop at nothing to allow yourself to express, to act on, to mimic, to mock up, to model, to mirror. Every skill will be brought to the forefront. Every ability that you have will be sought out and utilized and applied in your life to match the frequency of the passion you say that you are passionate about. So allow yourself to go forward full steam ahead when you know you are clearly acting on your excitement. Don't hold back. Otherwise, again, you're not really committing. You're not really demonstrating to the higher mind that it's a full commitment, that you actually believe that this frequency is representative of your passion or this opportunity or this doorway. Use every skill you have as best as you possibly can, and it will accelerate you greatly. And next.
Okay. Act to the fullest degree you are able to act.
Again, this is a reinforcement of understanding that you must go all the way to the degree you are truly able to act on it. Not only bringing all the skills, but taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further. Exhaust every possible avenue. Take it all the way out. Again, if you are truly, truly passionate about something, you will stop at nothing. It will be your driving force. You will look for every nook and cranny, every doorway, every window, every path you possibly can to take it as far as you possibly can until your reality through synchronicity shows you there is simply nothing else that you can possibly do. And next.
If more than one opportunity has equal ability to be acted upon, choose either, and it will show you whether or not to continue down that path.
Again, through synchronicity, the idea is that if it seems to be that there are equal opportunities with equal abilities and equal excitement, it really won't matter which one you choose first. You might as well just flip a coin. Because if it is not the path of least resistance for you, it will be self-contained within the toolkit of excitement, and something will happen synchronistically to demonstrate to you that that wasn't necessarily the choice that serves you best. That ability, that reflectivity is built into, automatically built into every single opportunity that you act on if it is being acted on to the best of your ability from your highest excitement. And using the coin analogy, we are serious about that because sometimes the idea is you don't really know which one might be representative of your highest excitement sometimes until you actually flip the coin. You may think they're equal, but sometimes when you flip a coin and say, all right, if it's heads, I'll take path A. If it's tails, I'll take path B. And you flip it and it comes up tails and you go, oh, path B, oh darn, I really wanted path A. You will reveal to yourself in that coin flip what really contains more excitement. But if after even the flipping of the coin, they still seem equal, then again, it doesn't really matter which path you take. For if it is not the path of least resistance, if it is not the path that serves you best at that moment, it will contain what it needs to contain to reflect to you that you need to choose the other path, because this is an automatic guidance system. It is an automatic self-perpetuating, self-guiding system, self-correcting system. It contains everything that you need. So you can utilize it that way as well. And next.
Keep acting on it until you have no more ability to act.
Again, take it as far as you can until you can take it no further. And again, be clear about the idea of what it means to have an ability to act on something. And this is where we get into some of the other definitions in this segment, is there are many different interpretations on your planet in people's minds about what it means to have the ability to act on something. So let's continue with the clarification.
When you can act no further, choose the next most exciting thing you are able to take action on.
Again, you will come to crossroads in acting on your excitement when it seems the excitement is exhausted, when it seems there is nothing else you can do, you've taken it as far as you can. Then again, when you come to those crossroads, you just repeat the process. You look around for the options that are available to you at that moment on any level, and you simply act on the one that contains more excitement than any other. And you keep repeating that process over and over and over and over and over and over again. And if you always do that, then your life will always be as exciting as it possibly can be at that moment, because you're always choosing the thing that contains more excitement than anything else. And you just keep on doing that. And why? Because you have given yourself no other choice, no reason to choose anything else. That's why. And that's as simple as it needs to be. And
recognize the signs, reflections, and agreements that indicate an inability to take action.
again, this comes back down to the definitions of what ability means. Now, each and every one of you has different abilities. Each and every one of you has a different relationship with the collective. Each and every one of you may have different ways of doing things, and so what works for you may not work for someone else, and vice versa. So you have to really be aware of what your abilities are and what the synchronicity of your reality shows you you are able to actually do and not do. And
physical parameters, laws of society, moral values, and ethical standards can all indicate whether or not you have the ability to take action.
this is the biggest one that needs the most clarification on your planet. Now, some of them are relatively obvious. Physical parameters. If you are literally, physically unable to take action on something for whatever reason, then that means you are unable to take action on it, and that is as good as a crossroads. It's as good as an arrow pointing in another direction saying, this direction that you are unable to act on is not the path of least resistance. So please don't stand there banging your head against a brick wall. Turn left, turn right, go around, do something else. Choose another thing that excites you. The things that may look like obstacles physically are not obstacles. They're road signs guiding you that you need to turn left, you need to turn right, you need to turn around, here and now. And that actually will be the path of least resistance. Please remember that even though the path may seem to be winding and longer than another path you could take, if it is actually the path of least resistance, it will actually be the fastest path. Because even though another path may look shorter, if it's not the path of least resistance, it will take you longer to walk it. So don't be afraid of the winding path. If it's your true path, it will actually allow you to go with the flow much more easily. Now, the idea again of what your society in general has agreed are different kinds of ethical and moral parameters are important for you to pay attention to because you agreed to be part of this society. We understand that many times people on your planet don't necessarily agree or see the same things in the same way, morally or ethically or even legally. But the idea is to understand that if you are part of a society that in general has agreed that these things are in place for the general benefit of that society, then you have to be very, very, very clear about why you might think it's important to go against the grain of that moral imperative, that ethical structure, or those legal standards called laws. Because if you go against them just because you can't see any other way, then you're just not being creative or imaginative enough. The idea to understand is that you are part of that society and you agreed to be. If you do not approve of certain laws or ethical standards, then you have every right to change them in whatever way works within your society to do so. But just violating them is not the way to do it, and the idea that the law or ethical standard exists is a sign and an indication that you don't have the ability to go in that direction. You need to see it as clearly as you would see a brick wall, again, simply being an arrow pointing in an unexpected direction that is actually representative of the path of least resistance. Let us add another example to this that we have become aware of, because this particular idea has been bandied about in your society now for quite a while, and specifically we will use the example of what is called copyright law, since this seems to be a hotbed topic in your society. The idea that we have talked about that you call pirating material that doesn't belong to you is a perfect illustration of what we are saying here. There have been some individuals in your society that have come back with what you might loosely call a rebuttal to this concept of obeying the copyright laws by saying, but there have been all sorts of laws in society that we really shouldn't have followed. For example, at one point, slavery was legal. Should we follow those laws? This is really not a correct argument and is really very surface-oriented and actually misses the point. The difference between that scenario and what you are calling the copyright laws is not apples and oranges, it is apples and broccoli. It is two completely different concepts. The idea, first and foremost, and the basic understanding here is that, yes, we understand that there can be what you would call unjust laws in your society, and that there may be people who resist those and go against them and fight to change them in a variety of ways. And sometimes civil disobedience is one of those ways that you have available to you. But the real misunderstanding in that so-called argument, which is not really an argument at all, is the difference between the two ideas. Because what you would call slavery is designed to take people's rights away. Copyright law is designed to protect people's rights. That's the difference. And so such an argument simply means the person hasn't really thought it through. It is just what you would call a knee-jerk reaction to something they want to do, and they're simply creating an excuse in their minds or a reason to break laws that actually benefit your society and are actually just laws. So be very, very clear about the idea when you bring up arguments like that and reasons like that within your own mind as to whether they actually are relevant or not, or whether you're actually missing the point on a very basic level. And the next principle.
Okay, so now we're actually on principle number 3 of the formula, which is act on that excitement with absolutely zero insistence or assumption with respect to a specific outcome.
And the first sub-principle is?
Understand that insistence on a specific outcome, manifestation, or path may actually prevent a better manifestation than you imagined.
The idea of insistence on a particular outcome may seem to be a focus on something that is the best thing you can possibly imagine, but in fact, it's actually a limitation. We have used, to illustrate this point quite often, the idea of visualization. Nothing wrong with visualization at all. Absolutely, it's a tool and a technique that you can use to imagine, to envision an ideal reality that you would absolutely love to experience, that you're excited about experiencing. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing contrary to your true vibration. But here's the rub, here's the difference, as you say. When you imagine, when you picture, when you visualize that so-called ideal outcome, that ideal reality, and you see yourself in that picture, in that visualization, you get excited about what you're seeing, don't you? Hello? Yes. All right. That's why you're visualizing it. You're pumping up your vibration. You're pumping up your excitement. You're getting excited about the idea, the possibility that this could actually manifest. And oh boy, wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be just delicious? Wouldn't that be the best possible thing that could happen in my life? Well, maybe not. The idea is that maybe something even better than you were capable of imagining could happen. So if you insist on the picture that your physical mind created, how do you know you're not limiting yourself from something even better? Your higher mind may know of something even grander than your physical mind is capable of imagining, because your physical mind is not designed to know how something actually needs to happen. Your physical mind is only designed to know what's happening, to experience what's going on right now, what manifests right now. Only your higher mind knows what the true path is for you and tells you this, informs the physical mind through excitement so that the physical mind can know it too. But the physical mind doesn't have the capacity, it's not designed to know how exactly something really needs to unfold. But the higher mind knows this. So when you amp yourself up, when you get yourself really excited by having that particular visualization that your physical mind was capable of conjuring, and you feel at the peak of excitement, drop the picture utterly. Zero insistence, zero assumption that it has to look like that, has to happen that way, you have to get there that way, or that anything specific about it really needs to come to fruition. Drop it utterly, but keep the vibration, the state of being of excitement. Then you are the driving engine itself, that you have now made room for the manifestation that the higher mind can bring to you that is actually representative of that state of excitement, which may be far grander than your physical mind was capable of visualizing. So when you understand that insistence on a particular outcome is actually a limitation, you will drop it, as you say, like a hot potato. Or perhaps some of you will drop it like a hot potato. And the next.
The thing itself that excites you may not need to come to fruition. It may only excite you to get you to take action in order to create the state of being in which that thing actually needs to manifest.
So again, yes, the idea is that when you drop the insistence, when you drop the assumption in that context, you will start to realize that sometimes things will excite you, but not for the reason you think. If you are holding on to certain beliefs that may make you resistant to moving in a certain direction, a direction you may really need to go in, something may crop up synchronistically in your life that will get you to move in that direction because it looks so exciting you just can't resist it. But never assume that the thing that excites you and gets you to move is the thing that actually has to manifest, because its job may only be to get you off your butt. And that may be it. And once you are moving, and once you are acting on your excitement, and once you're in that state of being, then the thing that really needs to be acted on and may really need to manifest can crop up as an opportunity and a circumstance before you. But never assume that what crops up actually has to be it. It may only be the thing that ignited you to start moving so you would have the momentum to take advantage of what really needs to manifest in your life.
Okay, well, acting on this three-part formula with integrity aligns you with the complete toolkit of excitement that...
When we say it's complete, we mean it's complete. If you need a refresher course on what that word means, please consult your local dictionary. Complete means it leaves nothing relevant out. That's the final piece of the toolkit. But first and foremost, and again, please remember, the toolkit is automatic, self-guiding, self-perpetuating. It works flawlessly all the time. And it becomes, when you activate this three-part formula of acting on your highest excitement every moment that you can to the best that you are able, with zero insistence on the outcome or how you get there, the methodology or anything like that, then you activate the kit to work for you in a positive way, and the kit becomes the driving engine. That's the first tool that moves you through life, accelerates you. It becomes the organizing principle in your life. Again, as we mentioned, through synchronicity, showing you exactly what needs to be done in what order and when. And whatever doesn't get done by the end of the day when you are excited about being tired and going to sleep, which is also an excitement, then it didn't need to be done that day. Because again, it's the organizing principle and it knows exactly how to fill your day perfectly. And again, please remember that when we talk about acting on your excitement, we don't mean, as we have said very often, that you have to be jumping up and down with your hair on fire. Excitement can be a sense of balanced peace. It can be a very relaxed meditative state expressing your excitement. You don't have to be running around the room, bouncing off the walls to say, I'm excited. Look at me, I'm excited. And so, not only is it the driving engine and the organizing principle, but it is also the path of least resistance. It is also that which connects you to all other expressions of excitement. Even if on the surface they look unconnected, it's the excitement that tells you that they are. It is also what gives you support in life, in all the ways you need it, in all the forms it needs to come. Whatever form of abundance that may be, will be the form that needs to be there. So again, drop the insistence on what form in which abundance may need to come. Because again, you don't know what form actually may serve you best. If it's money, which we understand you have on your planet, then that's the form it'll come in. But if that's not the path of least resistance, another form of abundance may need to crop up, such as simply being gifted something. That's a form of abundance. But you must trust the synchronicity and the way your life unfolds in order to be open to all forms of abundance and not be insistent that it must come in a certain form, which again, paradoxically, closes the doors to which all other forms of abundance may actually reach you through. It also contains the reflective mirror, this kit, that reveals to you, as you're acting on your excitement, as you're moving forward, it reveals to you, in no uncertain terms, by bringing them up to your attention, anything that may be in your subconscious or unconscious mind that is out of alignment with your true vibration. Any negative fear-based beliefs that are out of alignment, it will bring them to your attention. So when you're acting on your excitement and suddenly one of these fear-based beliefs comes up, don't label that as something having gone wrong. That's exactly what needs to happen, because you need to be aware of these things. You need to identify these negative beliefs consciously in order to see that they don't belong to you, in order to see that they make no sense, in order to see that that's not what you prefer, in order to consciously realize that's not what you prefer to choose. And once you let that go, then you will add its energy to your excitement and you will continue to expand from there. And once again, this being a complete kit, it leaves absolutely nothing relevant out of your life. That's what we mean by complete. It will contain everything you need in perfect place, in perfect timing. You will find yourself synchronistically where you need to be, when you need to be there, with whom you need to be, doing what you need to be doing. All these things are automatic, and if you're willing to go with the flow, you will start experiencing this synchronicity in that way more and more and more and more. Life will become more ecstatic. It will become more effortless. It will become more joyful. It will become more creative. It will become more loving. It will become more aware of who and what you are. Know thyself. This all boils down to that. Know thyself. The ultimate formula. Be aware of your definitions. Be aware of what you're choosing. Be aware of what story you're telling yourself and living out. And choose the ones that you prefer instead. Again, this may not necessarily contain every single detail, but for now it is sufficient. And if you are willing to follow these guidelines and allow yourself to learn very effectively and make them your own, these principles and sub-principles, and remind yourself, if you find yourself slipping a little bit, go back to the sheet, remind yourself of the details here, of the precise definitions here, and then just move forward. Does this sound like fun? Yes. All right.
let us say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Once again, we will continue with this transmission by first and foremost thanking each and every one of you in deep appreciation and gratitude for the co-creation of these interactions, which allows for certain changes to occur in the vibrational frequency of the makeup of both of our respective realities. This transmission, we would like to focus on an idea we have called, in your language, sacred circuitry. You all have diagrams of some, just a few, of the sacred circuits. What this is a reference to is a particular tool, a particular technique, a particular reflective idea that is unique in a very specific way. Most times what we have shared with you as tools and techniques and permission slips have come from our own society's understandings, our own society's applications of these principles that we discuss with you. While we have ourselves adopted and adapted this idea within our society, this particular technique comes as a gift, as a sharing, handed down from other societies in creation. We will only go so far back as to say that while it did not originate with them, what is relevant to this particular interaction is that this particular technique was also adopted and adapted by the civilization, the physical civilization in the star system of Sirius, and handed down to the hybrid civilization that we have already spoken of, that we call the first ones, the Shalanaya or the Yael, who have handed it down to our civilization, the Sathani people, and now we hand it down to you. So this is the first time that we are sharing a technique, a tool, a permission slip, a gift, handed down as a gift from other civilizations in a specific succession. And you are next in line to receive this gift, this sharing. So we bequeath this now to you, to make it your own, to adopt it and adapt it to your own imaginings, your own civilization. So while we will give you some brief instruction as to how perhaps to utilize this particular permission slip, please understand that in time you may also rely upon your own imagination, the conduit between your physical mind and higher mind, your spirit guides, your synchronicities, your own understandings of the choices that you have made to experience this reality. You may rely on these things to adapt this idea, this tool, in whatever way, shape, or form suits you best, individually and collectively. But the basic idea is that it will tap into, like many permission slips, the collective consciousness and unconsciousness of your civilization, the collective world spirit of your civilization, and that is why, even though you may adapt it in a very personal manner, it will have some effect on most of you, even though it is a permission slip, and you are giving yourself permission by simply using this as a reflection to become more of yourselves. It will key into those things that are extremely common with most of you, because it taps right into the idea of the wiring of the brain, the neurological wiring of your brains. As we have said before, there are 3 levels to the idea of the reception of information in the idea of physical reality. There is the higher mind, which is the conceiver. There is the physical brain, which is the receiver, the antenna. And there is the physical mind, which is the perceiver of the experience. This permission slip, this gift, this sharing handed down, is specifically designed to assist you in rewiring and adapting your receiver, your antenna, your brain, your physical brain, in such a manner as to allow for many different things, one of which is greater communication between your physical mind and higher mind, allowing your brain to become not just superconductive, but hyperconductive, allowing information to go smoothly, effortlessly, in both directions, from physical to higher, from higher to physical. Thus acting also more as a network, allowing you to associate more readily, tap into and access more information more readily, gain perspectives that allow for broader understanding of various levels of your reality experience, that allow you to tap into broader capability at perceiving other levels of reality, other dimensions of experience. Of course, as we have also said, each and every thought you have changes the wiring of your brain, and based specifically on what we spoke of last night of your time in terms of shifting through parallel realities. The idea being that you are truly a different person, a new person, literally, every moment. The idea of learning how to consciously rewire your brains in specific ways will allow you more efficacy in becoming the person that you wish to become, that you prefer to become, who you prefer to be. And thus then, along with that, the attendant parallel reality that is reflective of that state. Now, as you gaze at the first 15 of the sacred circuits, and there are many, many more, but we will start here. We will keep it simple. The idea, first and foremost, one way that you can begin to utilize these would be to take some time, on your own time, to turn each and every one of these into its own, as you call them, flashcard, individually. 15 flashcards, each one with one symbol and one word upon it. As you thus create these flashcards, 1 to 15, with each attendant circuit and attendant word, the idea would be to sit in a quiet and meditative way, a relaxed and peaceful way, in an environment that you find relaxing and peaceful, with music if you wish, with colors if you wish, however you wish it to be, that to you represents a peaceful state, without interruption. The idea being that you will take and gaze at each one of these in succession, in order, 1 minute a card for 15 minutes. Do this 3 days in a row. 1 card at a time, 1 minute per card, in order, 1 through 15 for 15 minutes. And as you simply gaze and ponder and allow your mind to drift, and just absorb the idea of the shape, just absorb the idea of the attendant concept, without thinking, without analyzing, just let it in, just gaze at it, just let your eyes be the true windows to your soul, your spirit, your mind, and everything else. Bless you. Allow yourselves the opportunity to just sit with these shapes and know that as you do so, what they are doing is that they are specifically designed to allow the neurological circuitry in your brain to rewire itself to be representative of each and every one of these symbolic shapes so that it may function in accord with the concept that is attendant to this shape. And overall, over the course of these first 15, allow you to more holistically function in a hyperconnective, hyperconductive, associative, accessing way to knowledge, information about yourself, about the cosmos, about all that is, in whatever way, shape, or form is appropriate for you as an individual aspect of creation. After you have done it 3 days in a row, in order, 1 through 15, each time, thereafter, you may do it in any order you so desire, any order you are attracted to, whatever it is, in that sense, you are wishing to focus on, you may do it in that way. And you do not necessarily have to even do them all. You may find yourself sometimes gravitating to simply 1, 2, or 3, or more in any given day. The idea, however, is that how many ever you decide on any given single day, and you do not need to do this more than once a day, you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times. I would not suggest you do it more. The idea is that you need to allow your brain time to adapt, time to incorporate, time to absorb, time to crystallize these effects, these adaptations, these circuits. So, start slow, start soft, let it take whatever time it is natural for it to take. And if you only do less than 15 on any given day, after you do the first 3 days in the order in which they come, then allow yourself again at any given sitting, even if you're only using 1, to not do it for more than 15 minutes. As we have spoken of before, in the session that we entitled 15 Minutes and Counting, and as you have observed and will observe with the meditation that is attendant to the holotope experience, 15 minutes is the time frame in your reality that best suits the absorption of information and the alteration and the rewiring of the brain for a specific task. Longer than that is really not efficient. Longer than that can actually, in some senses, before it is, in that sense, absorbed appropriately and adapted appropriately, before it is crystallized, can actually allow you to lose the effect a little bit. So keep it simple, keep it short, always keep it to 15 minutes. You do not need more than that, guaranteed. So, take a moment now. We don't have to spend the 15 minutes doing it, but just take a moment now, starting on the first page, to simply take a few seconds to gaze at each one in order, 1 through 15. This is just by way now of introducing your brain to the concept. You are making now a formal introduction to allow your brain to know what's coming, because the physical mind loves to know what's coming. So we will give it its due at the moment and give it a little bit of preparation. Look at number 1. Just number 1. Just take a moment and say hello to each symbol and form an associative, loving, peaceful, exciting, creative, playful energy with each symbol. Look at number 2. Do the same. Just 1 or 2 breaths with each symbol is all that is necessary, maybe 3 breaths. Take a moment, look at number 3. Let the symbol fill your gaze, fill your mind, feel it. In a sense, being recognized and acknowledged by your physical mind, by your brain. If you even wish to feel a sensation or create a sensation of the circuitry in your brain actually rewiring itself as you do this, that's fine, for this is the beginning of the permission slip, even in this simple form. Look at number 4. Allow yourself to familiarize the shape in your mind. Look at number 5. Take a breath. Take 2. Flip over to number 6. And understand, of course, again, that it is no accident these are broken down into fives. 5 being the number of humanity. This is one of the adaptations specifically for your civilization. So all the times we will introduce these circuits and more of them later on to you, they will always be given to you in clusters of 5. So look at number 6. Look at number 7. Allow yourself to drift to number 8. Ponder and explore the shapes of number 9 and number 10 at whatever rate you are comfortable with. You do not have to follow exactly the pace at which we are moving. Just take a moment to sit with it. And then go ahead and flip, if you wish, to 11. Allow yourselves to feel the expansiveness that comes with that symbol. Allow yourself to flip to number 12 in your mind. And feel the activity that comes with that. Allow yourself to ponder number 13, the great transformer. That which is the crucible that allows for all change in a smooth and effortless way. Then ponder, if you will, number 14, the great, in that sense, connector. To reinforce and recrystallize and establish your connection to all things. And then, last but certainly not least, the great manifestation. That which allows you to see all things coming into play, all things finding their appropriate place and time and timing. All the things you're already connected to suddenly being capable of appearing to you in your sight because you have expanded your frequency and thus are capable of seeing what was heretofore invisible to you. For that is all manifestation is the making visible which is already here, that which is invisible before. So thus then now you have this tool, this technique, this gift, this sharing, this permission slip. Do not worry about how you recreate these symbols on your flashcards. You may do them by hand. It is one of the reasons we instructed the channel, when we downloaded this information to him, to leave them as hand-drawn symbols. You do not need to make them any more precise. You can if you wish to. You may doll them up, decorate them up, in any way, shape, or form you so desire, as long as the basic symbol is maintained intact. You may make them more precise, or you may simply hand draw them as you see here. They will always work. It does not matter. And in some senses, in particular, in actual fact, if you actually hand draw them to the best of your ability, it will actually be more strongly connected to your circuitry, because you did it with your circuitry, more directly, more, shall we say, naturally. Again, it is up to you. If you feel a stronger kinship with them by rendering them via some form of computer art or what have you, that is up to you. But just allow yourself to sense whether the symbols thus then feel a little bit removed or whether they still feel a part of you, an extension of you, and capable of being related to by you in a natural way. That is what is most important. That you truly form a relationship with each and every one of these symbols. Each and every one is like a little autonomous being with its own consciousness, its own vibration, its own reality, its own awareness, and it is willing to form a relationship with you and express itself as an imprint, an encodation in your brain, in your neurological circuitry, to aid and assist you in being a smooth receiver, an expanded antenna, and to help facilitate, through the conduit of imagination and inspiration, a greater dialogue, a clearer dialogue, an active dialogue, and an active partnership between your physical mind and higher mind, using the facilitator of your brain, your receiver, your antenna. One moment, we have a guest who wishes to say a few words. Greetings. Greetings. I am the primary facilitator for the Sasani homeworld. What you would recognize in your future as the replacement for what you now call government, which we do not have. We have only those that assist in the facilitation of the synchronicity that exists within the telepathic bond between all of our race. We are speaking with you this day in this way because of this gift that our world passes down to you, and in this way allows you to become more connected with us as you become more connected with yourselves. We extend to you, all of you, our deep appreciation at being willing to become part of our family, our extended family in this way. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our family. By this gift, you will find yourselves from time to time, quite literally. By this gift, you will find yourselves from place to place, quite literally. With this gift, you will find space and time more flexible, more malleable. You will find shifts in your perceptions and your perspectives that will line up more truly with your fundamental selves, your core being, the aspects of your creatorhood, and more flow with your synchronicity. In particular, pay attention to the glyph, the circuit that is the circuit called flow. For when you arrive in pondering the circuit called flow, you will be specifically accelerating the energy of all that flows to you and all that flows from you. And as you align with this flow, you will more readily receive, and you will more readily give that vibration that is translated in your reality as unconditional love. And as you are more willing to stand in the path, in the tunnel, in the conduit, in the pipeline of that flow, you will find yourselves becoming expanded in very specific ways that may allow you to catch glimpses of other realities that are concurrent with your own, that have relevance and meaning synchronistically for you, and may illuminate more readily, and may illuminate more clearly your particular choices for this life, and may assist you in remembering, remembering, recalling, reawakening the choices that you made for this physical reality so as to more clearly illuminate the path you have chosen to be, and more clearly grant you understanding, true, fundamental understanding of why it is obvious to act upon your joy every moment that you have been granted existence and life. And allow your experience to be undifferentiated from what and who you are. For you are the experience you are having itself. You are the experience all that is having of itself. Have a grand experience with this gift. Once again, we welcome you to our family. We welcome you to our society, as you have welcomed us to yours. We salute you. We give you back your tutor. This is a time when you have arrived at a place where this being we call the primary facilitator thus then gives his 3 cents and thus then acts as a demarcation that is another marker, another milestone on the path of contact, and allows you to know that you have expanded to the point to use this greeting from him as a barometer, to know that you have arrived at a point where you are now taking a step to another level, expanding to another level, to another accelerative level that will allow for more contact to begin to occur in a variety of ways. So do not be surprised, or if you wish to be surprised, go right ahead, by the fact that over the course of the remainder of what you call this orbit, this year, and into the beginning of your year you call 2011, that there may be far more reported activity of what you call spacecraft in your skies, and far more activity within you and yourselves and your memory and remembering that many of you, and in some ways all of you, have already had certain kinds of contact that you may simply not be remembering yet. But by this greeting as a demarcation, you will find that you may accelerate in your dreams or even in your physical waking state to begin to remember encounters you have already had on other levels and even on your level. And it is the pace at which you remember that contact has already occurred in certain ways that we use as a barometer to gauge. The rate at which you remember the contacts that have already occurred is the barometer we use to gauge when your society is ready for more. For remember, after your year of 2012, the quarantine will be off. And the idea of contact and the rate at which it occurs will no longer be based on the idea of our hands-off policy. It will totally be based on the rate at which you yourselves deem you are ready for open contact by your actions, by the things you do in your world, by the changes you create within yourself and the responses that occur within yourself to whatever is going on your planet. From that point forward, and what you call that particular demarcation point, the end of the old cycle, the beginning of the new, on your December 21st, 2012, will be the final date wherein we are prevented by our own reckonings from interacting with you. It will solely be in your hands as to determine when your world is willing to open up more and more for further relationship with all of us and others. So, we give you this tool, this day, as a particular special present to mark this birth and new birth and rebirth of yourselves as new people in a new reality with a different history and a completely different future that you are creating from a completely different present. So congratulations. Thank you for applauding yourselves. At this timing, we may begin with explorations, questions, and discussions that are pertinent and germane to the ideas we have expounded upon herein.
Opportunity to be here and have this discussion with you.
As do we.
Wonderful. My question.
One moment. Be bold and speak up so that all may hear what you have to share.
All right. My questions are about transition and transformation.
Transition and transformation,
Transition
yes.
and transformation.
Is there a difference?
Does it matter?
No, but you brought it up.
Oh, those are just a couple of words that represent the concept.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Okay.
One would have sufficed. Economy, after all, economy.
All right. Okay. So
You know our favorite T.
anyone?
Brevity.
Okay. All right. So I've come from an experience
Yes.
of many years of working in a situation with a large company.
Yes.
Through all of those years of experience, came out of that with a very big desire for something very different. So
Such as?
I learned a lot about what I don't want.
Thank you.
And what I do want
Yes.
is,
What you do prefer.
what I do prefer
Yes.
is to create good things with good people
All right.
and be in an organization of people who agree to have positive experiences and an organization that is in the light of the light.
Is it all right if somebody in the organization doesn't agree to have a positive experience?
Oh, yeah.
All right, then why do you care?
I prefer my experience
Yes.
to...
Are you not creating your experience?
Yeah, see, this is why I'm having this discussion with you, because
I
I'm
see.
trying to figure this out.
Trying, all right.
All right.
Let's try to figure it out. Doesn't mean we'll figure it out, but we can try figuring it out.
Okay.
What is it that you are not doing that represents your highest excitement that you could be acting on? Let's cut to the chase.
What?
Oh, well put. You say you prefer certain things. So is there something you could be doing that's representative of your highest passion that you haven't yet begun acting on? What can you be doing that is representative of what you say excites you, that you're not acting on yet?
And that's an excellent question. Is
Thank
somebody writing
you.
this down for me?
Do you have an excellent answer?
I think I get confused between
Yes.
the experience as a human being with other human beings.
The
and
experience as a human being with other human beings. Yes, and
dialogue.
what?
I enjoy dialogue, which allows us each to get to a better place.
All right, so you're saying that dialoguing with other people is a part of your highest joy?
It is.
Are you doing it in the way that you prefer to do it?
Those
Hesitation means no.
more often.
All right, more often, very good. What will you be able to do that will allow you to do it as often as you actually would prefer to do it? What can you do? What actions can you take in that direction that would allow you to do the things you say excite you as often as you would actually prefer to do them and not just every so often?
I wonder if I need to get really clear about how often I want to have those.
Obviously, yes, you do. And how often do you want to have them?
Well, I think from my previous experience.
The past is the result of the present, not the other way around. Do not base what you prefer on what has been. For what has been doesn't exist if you truly are a different person than you used to be. Do you understand?
Yes. And
Are you sure?
no.
Thank you. Be honest. Understand every change is a total change. You are a different person literally every moment. I know it's confusing because in your language we are saying you are a different person.
No, that's clear. What's confusing is when I try to put it all together and make sense of it.
Then it's obviously not clear. Explain to us what we mean when we say you're a different person. What does that mean?
To me, it means each moment I've taken in new data and processed where I want to go from here, where I prefer to be, and therefore...
Insufficient.
Okay.
What else does it mean? You're a new person. What does that mean?
I don't know.
It means that what you call history is different. A new person, a completely different person, has a different history from another person, don't they? Don't they?
Yes.
Then if you're truly a new person, it means you're a different person than the person that was here a moment ago, and that means the new person has a completely different history, doesn't she? Doesn't she?
Okay.
Therefore, there is absolutely nothing that has happened to the other person that in any way, shape, or form defines the person you're saying you are now. Is there?
Okay.
So, why not just act on the things that excite you, regardless of what happened to her, because you're not her? That'd be like saying, well, I can't do this because Sally over there had this happen to her.
I agree with that.
All right, well, it makes no sense then to keep going back to the idea of what you've been through as if that has any bearing on what it is you can decide to be now. You can just decide what you prefer to be, act accordingly, be that state of being, and let your life unfold according to that vibration, regardless of anything that has ever happened to any other person that was here before, which you are not now.
Okay, so can you talk to me a little bit about the interaction with other people? Because,
as we already said, what you're interacting with is your version of them in your reality. They're made out of your consciousness. I'm not saying there aren't other people, but what you interact with in physical reality is made out of your consciousness. So they're simply acting as reflections to you to help put you in touch with more of yourself so that you can decide more concretely what is preferable to you and not. Any relationship, all relationships, are for the purpose of every person in the relationship helping to reflect to the other person what they need to know to become more of who they are and to let go of who they are not. So any encounter, any interaction you've ever had with any version of any person has been for the purpose of helping you to decide who you really prefer to be and thus acting accordingly. But the action must come. You cannot just decide to be someone and have no commensurate action that goes with it. Your behavior has to match who you say you are, in other words. So if you say you're this excited being that has all of these exciting ideas, but you're not acting on them, you're not doing anything, you're not acting on your excitement, then you're not behaving like you really believe you're that person. If you have in your mind's eye a picture, a vision of you in your ideal reality, and if you actually watch really closely how that version of you behaves, you will see that more often than not, she's behaving very differently than you're behaving in your daily life. All you have to do is actually behave like she would behave in every given situation. And when you behave like she would behave, that person in the ideal scenario, you will then have her life. But if you behave differently, you will simply have this life. The life that is commensurate with your behavior and your beliefs. Make sense?
Yes.
That's what your imagination is for. Your imagination is the portal to talk to your higher mind, so that your higher mind can give you an example of the feeling and the frequency of the behavior of the state of being that represents your highest ability to attract to you, quote unquote, manifest, the idea that best represents that state of being. And you don't even have to insist that it's exactly got to come to fruition in the way that you've imagined it. That's just a template. It's just to get your engine moving. It's just to give you the state of being. It's just a placeholder. It's just a symbol. It might manifest exactly as your physical mind has pictured it, but it might not. So don't insist on it. Remember that the higher mind can see farther and can actually bring you a situation that is even better than you imagine. So don't insist on the picture your physical mind has created, because physical mind is not capable, is not designed to know how things are going to happen. Physical mind is only designed to know how things are happening. Physical mind perceives. Higher mind conceives. Mm-hmm. So if you allow the higher mind to simply bring you what fits the vibration that the picture your physical mind has conjured up creates within you, then just let it come in whatever form the higher mind actually says is best, without insisting that it must fit the picture your physical mind was capable of conjuring as a symbol. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes, and I think my last part of the question to wrap this up is, so if I have the question in myself...
then you have the answer. If you don't have the answer, you're incapable of conceiving of the question. All you have to do is take that little bent-over question mark and straighten it into an exclamation point.
Okay.
Make sense?
So you don't want to hear the question then?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that my question at this point is, do I want to have more experiences with people one-on-one or with people in large groups, to use this room as an example? Do
you have a preference at this moment?
Exactly, that's the question. And
Do you have a preference?
This is great, I like this.
Do you have a preference?
My preference right now is to be right here with all these people.
Then there you go. Maybe tomorrow that will change.
Right, and so what I'm thinking is this one of those, okay, should I take this step? Should I take this
step? Stop.
Right?
Stop.
Is that what that is?
Stop. Here is what's confusing you. You are too detail-oriented.
I know.
You are breaking things down into details that don't need to be broken down into so many details, into so many components. Understand, your excitement is an umbrella excitement. There may be many different expressions of how you express that excitement, but those are just expressions, and it's all right for them to change. So you don't have to wonder whether this one's right or that one's right. Just act on the one that feels best at this moment, and if it changes tomorrow, act on that. Because they all fit under the umbrella definition of what excites you. Keep it holistic. You don't have to break it down into so many details that confuse you, because then you think you have to put all the details back together to make up a whole picture. Just understand that it fits within the umbrella definition of the general things that you find really exciting, and if any expression of that excitement comes as an ability to be something to be acted on, then act on the highest one at any given moment. You have the highest degree of ability to take action on, and that's all you have to do, because excitement is a thread that leads to all other excitement.
Perfect, thank you.
Make sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Can you please say something about chemtrails?
Something about chemtrails.
Can you please give us some information about chemtrails, because there's a lot of people interested in exactly what they are.
I know. Some of that information is no longer appropriate to come through this terminal. We have changed our frequency about what types of information we will deliver to your planet, and some types of information are simply no longer appropriate for the vibrations of change that are going on. Nevertheless, obviously they are artificial constructs. Some of them have to do with the idea of experimentation in weather alteration, and that is all we are allowed to say at this time, because it is simply not part of our repertoire at this moment through this particular terminal. Anything else you would like to discuss?
If chemtrails, whether or not they're harmful or not, if we have
Sometimes they can be. They are not always.
do we have the ability to transform them just by our positive vibrations?
You have the ability to have them affect or not affect you according to the vibration of your own individual reality. But on a bigger picture, you also have the ability to form co-agreements with each other to create collective reality experiences. More simply put, you are your government. It is not us versus them. You want things to change? Change them. You are not powerless. Does that help you?
Yes, Bashar, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It is delightful to hear you again.
You have lost your light?
Well, we did a reading.
You are delighted as opposed to lighted?
I'm sorry. We did a reading in mid-'80s, one-on-one.
Oh, right.
It was amazing.
But that wasn't with you or me. That was with two different people in another parallel reality.
A past one, indeed.
But past is also simultaneously coexistent. Now, yes.
Okay.
What you call the past and the future are just different simultaneously coexistent parallel realities that exist now, yes.
Thank you. What I would like to know is, I have a painting I did when I was 10 and 11.
All right.
I would come home from school obsessively and paint this picture
Of?
the destruction of a planet
Yes.
with green beings hugging trees
Yes.
that were on fire.
Yes.
I would like to know where that came from. Am I a contactee?
It came from the, yes you are, many of you are, but it came from the idea of what you were projecting was a possible path your own Earth could go down. That you could destroy yourselves by not paying attention to your relationship with nature. But many of you have changed that now. So that painting, in a sense, while it may have been an obsession back then, is now perhaps obsolete.
Ah, okay.
Do you understand?
So you're
When you are children, you are very, very, very sensitive and perceptive about the collective consciousness choices being made for the planet. And you may express it in a variety of ways, such as paintings being one of them. But it gives you an understanding of where things lie so that if you don't prefer them, you can change them. That's why there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. A prediction is simply a sensing that exists of the energy that exists at the time the prediction is made. It's letting you know where the collective energy stands so that if you don't prefer it, you can change it. And many of you have changed it.
It exists as a possibility?
Yes. All things are possible.
Right.
It exists as a probability. But now it has less probability than simply having a world that you prefer. Because you have made shifts to different parallel realities over the course of your physical lifetime.
Yes, I am a contactee. Can you illuminate that, elucidate that?
No.
Okay.
It is not our place to do so at this time.
Okay. Thank you then.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good day.
And to you, good day.
Could you tell me how you feel about high-speed rail in the state of California?
Sounds like fun. But we are not connected to your politics in that way. So the decision is up to you. How do you feel about it?
Good.
All right. Then that was a nice conversation.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I was hoping that you could help explain to me the difference between the higher self and God.
The higher mind and God.
Yes.
God, what you call God, is all that is. There is nothing outside of it. It is all that is, all that exists. Higher mind is a specific fragmentation of all that is the counterpart non-physical component of the physical mind, the physical persona you are experiencing yourself to be by having a physical life. So a physical person is actually, in a sense, two components, the physical mind and the higher mind, that are specific to that person. to that point of view, to that experience of your soul as a physical being. Soul is a higher differentiation that contains them both, and is also an aspect of all that is, but on a different level and a higher level than the physical mind and the higher mind. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Anything else?
I was going to ask if you could explain to me the nature of the Eagle Nebula and what it's there for, in terms of, I guess, my point of view. I see
Well,
it as...
how do you relate to it? That's the only relevant question. Okay. How is it relevant to you? Why does it attract you? What does it represent to you?
Is it precise for me to say that it is a birthplace for beings?
There are beings in star systems within what you call the Eagle Nebula, and you are making a connection, obviously, from this life to some of those ideas of incarnation. But that's being made concurrently. Remember, all realities exist at the same time. You don't come from somewhere else. All lives exist at the same time, and from any given life, you can make cross connections to any other life your oversoul may be having at the same time for your own reasons and for your own purposes, to draw information from those experiences to aid and assist you in this life, just as other lives are drawing from your experiences to aid and assist them in those lives, whether they consciously know they're doing it or not. So if it has relevance to you, it would be simply because you are making cross connections, because you believe that some of the experiences going on in some aspect of your soul there is relevant to the life you're living here. So the question still comes down to the idea of, why is it relevant for you? What does it make you feel?
What's the best way for me to explore that connection?
What does it make you feel? That was the question that led to that idea. How do you feel when you think of your relationship to the Eagle Nebula?
Scared.
Scared?
Yes.
How exciting. What are you afraid of?
Being there and not here.
But you are there and here simultaneously on a larger level.
Okay.
So, are you scared now?
Less.
All right. Well, what do you mean by being there and not here? Specifically, what about that definition frightens you?
Well, I feel very attached to my physical body.
Yes,
in
you
this
are.
moment.
Yes,
and
so?
I have a difficult time perceiving a physical body in that time and space.
So?
But yet I feel attracted and drawn to it for some reason.
All right, well, that's all well and good, but you haven't described anything for, shall we say, cause for fear yet.
Fair enough.
What frightens you about this idea?
I guess the detachment from my current...
Do you actually believe that you could leave ahead of the appointed time you chose?
I don't know.
Well, I can prove to you this idea if you wish.
I would love that.
Lie down on the floor.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Are you there?
I am.
All right, are your eyes closed?
They are.
Did you take a deep breath?
I did.
Say, I'm ready to leave this life. I am done with this life. I'm ready to leave. Say it.
What if I'm not?
Do you want me to prove this to you or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Say, I'm done with this life. I'm ready to leave.
I'm done with this life. I'm ready to leave.
Take a deep breath. Open your eyes. Are you still here?
Yes.
Then you're not ready to leave. It's that simple. You will leave when you're ready to leave. You will not leave 1 second before you're ready, but you will not leave 1 second later than you're ready. Do you understand? You already chose the timing, and because you chose the timing, you will know that the timing, whatever it is and whenever it is, will be perfect according to what you chose, so you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry about it. If you were really ready to leave, you would have gone. If you were really done with this life, you would have left. It's that simple. Something would have happened to cause you to die. You didn't die, so you're not done. It's that simple. Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Absolutely.
Will you breathe easier now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My question is, outside of this neutral physical reality, does darkness exist?
Outside of your reality?
This physical reality, like as in all that is.
All that is, by definition, obviously must contain darkness and light, or it's not all that is. Polarity is the first reflection, the first split off from the one. The one, by definition, doesn't know itself. In order for the one to know itself, it must split itself into something it can recognize as itself. By doing so, that automatically creates polarity. Thus, within all that is automatically the definition of polarity. So polarity exists on every level of all that is, even though it doesn't exist within the one. But the one doesn't know itself. There's no experience in the one. There's only experience within all that is. So to have experience, you have to have the polarity, or there's no experience. So the short answer is yes. Darkness exists everywhere, but that's not the point. The point is when you know that that is so, then you can allow it to be an equally valid choice to any other kind of choice you could make. You will not charge it with any energy beyond what it needs to be charged with. All choices will be equal and valid, both light and dark, and when all things are equal, you can choose what you prefer without invalidating what you don't prefer. Make sense?
It does.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you. Glad we could shed some darkness and light on the subject.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Well, my question is, I have seemed to prove to myself that I'm a master of manifesting difficulties.
Oh, all right. Congratulations. This is why we call your planet Masters of Limitation.
So my question is, I want to know how to stop manifesting difficulties.
Well, start manifesting joy and ease and effortlessness.
Well, I'm always following my highest excitement.
Are you sure?
Well, I think so, because I always
think so now.
Well, right.
With one sentence, I got you to doubt it.
Oh. The result is often difficulties. So
define difficulties.
For instance, do you want to go to the forest and go hiking? Yes, that sounds awesome. Let's do that. And
yes.
then poison ivy.
And then what?
Poison ivy, you know.
So what? So what? So what?
Well,
why are you defining that as a negative?
Well, because it debilitating, you know.
And why are you defining that as a negative? How do you know that you didn't need to be debilitated at that moment so that you would pay attention to something that otherwise would have gone right past you?
Well,
how do you know?
I don't know.
Thank you. That's the point. You don't know. So stop pretending you do.
So
stop pretending you know what everything happens for, because you don't. You may never know, but you have to trust that whatever happens is happening to teach you something in a positive way or to serve you in a positive way. If you don't go in with that attitude, you will only get a negative result. If you define something as not belonging, if you define it automatically as negative, you will only get a debilitating result. You will not understand what the debilitation might be for. To use your kinds of examples, let's say you wish to get somewhere on your planet and you need to drive one of your automobiles and you become what you humans call stuck in a traffic jam. So what? Most of you need to learn the power of the two-word meditation. So what? Because how do you know that if you had been allowed to zoom down the freeway, you wouldn't have collided with another car? How do you know that by sitting in traffic at that moment, not moving forward, that somebody in another car isn't looking over at you, having had a horrible day, and they see you sitting there being happy that you're stuck in traffic, smiling and singing, and you brighten their day and you make all the difference in their world? How do you know that's not what it was for? You don't. So stop trying to know what everything is for, and you'll have a much happier life. So there is a bumper sticker on your planet that sums it all up. Ever since I gave up hope, I feel much better. Anything that happens for a reason. You may not prefer it, but recognizing that something is not what you prefer doesn't mean it's not serving you in a positive way somehow. You have to stay in the state that allows you to know it serves you in a positive way in order for you to get a positive benefit, even if you never intellectually know that that person in the other car saw you singing. You may never know that, but you have to know there was a reason why you were stuck in the traffic jam. You have to know there's a reason why when you walked into the forest, you got poison ivy. Now, yes, it can be as simple a lesson as watch where you're going, dummy. But it's still a lesson, and it still serves you in a positive way because next time you'll avoid it. So you have to look at it from a positive point of view, because if you don't, you will only repeat the negative cycle over and over and over and over and over and over and over, because that's all you're seeing, because you haven't let go of the idea that it served you in a positive way. So you're the one focusing on the negative energy that keeps you locked into negative experiences, into negative reflections.
Of course. Wow. Thank you.
Does that make sense to you?
Oh, the immense sense. Thank you.
Immense sense.
Yes.
Hi.
And are you good day?
Good day. I just wanted you to shed some light on the idea of homosexuality.
Yes.
What is the, why would
Your spirit is neither male or female. It can manifest in either. Sometimes you want to have experiences in one gender, sometimes in another. Sometimes you may be used to one gender more than another, so you may choose a physical gender you may not necessarily be used to, and so it may take some getting used to. So you still have feelings of the other gender. Sometimes you choose it deliberately because you want to help other people relax their prejudices. It could be any number of ideas in between, but your spirit is all things.
Okay, and also...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And also I wanted to ask, how do people in your society reproduce?
At this time, though we used to reproduce much as you do, at this time it is generally an energy act. Individuals create literally an energy bubble between them in which a new life form is created. It grows very rapidly, and thus then we have a new incorporation within our society, if such is desired. But it is no longer in that sense a physiological act, but that's just where we are in our evolutionary stage. But we used to do it similarly to you.
Okay, thank you.
Remember, we are a hybrid species based on your genetic material. So we're not that dissimilar, except that we are now in our evolutionary state much farther along and closer to the idea of non-physicality. So many things we used to do, we no longer do. We no longer eat, we no longer sleep, we no longer drink.
Will human civilization reach that point on Earth?
Yes, eventually, in about 1,000 of your years.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. At this timing, we will extend once again to each and every one of you our deepest appreciation at the co-creation of this interaction and allowance of this transmission. We remind you, the tools always work. Use them in whatever way you prefer. Be who you prefer to be. Our unconditional love to you all. Good day. How'd it go? Okay? All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for being here today, and look forward to seeing you again. Have a good day. Thanks.
Actually, what you just pointed out is that there's almost like a process of going into a downward spiral. It's like each step, once you buy into a negative belief at one level, then it takes you down to yet another level.
Yes, it's like an elevator. You've pressed the down button instead of pressing the up button.
But in terms of something like grieving, that would be a little different in terms of not.
It's a little different, but not much. It's still utilizing a similar mechanism because, as I said, the only reason you really grieve is that you have a definition that you've lost something, that it's truly been separated from you, and that there's no connection remaining. If you change that definition, you would experience something quite different. So it may be slightly different as an expression, but it still utilizes the same mechanism. The definitions are creating a misalignment with what is true.
And so in the future, when we have stronger connection to those that have passed over, will we be able to just talk to them in our heads as if they're standing there, or will it be something where we do it through a device?
It can be any number of mechanisms. Ultimately, it can simply be you're talking to them because you can see and hear them, because you're matching a frequency that they exist on in their particular realm.
So then the only other barrier perhaps would be the idea that you cannot physically touch the person, or you don't.
Even that is not necessarily true. As we exist in our civilization, as what we are terming quasi-physical beings, means we have traits of both physical and non-physical reality. Spirits can touch us and we can touch them.
Wow.
It's a matter of realigning your frequency.
So you mean we could actually get to the point where, for example, the person who lost their daughter would actually be able to feel that they're in a one-on-one communication, talking, and being able to hug? Or
yes, if you look at your literature about the idea of what you call ghosts, you will find that there are many references to beings that seem so solid, people on your planet don't even know they're looking at a spirit. So it depends on the reasons for that, and we're not going to go into that at the moment. But clearly, in your literature and in your accounting of such meetings, you do have a listing of experiences where people couldn't even tell that they were speaking to a ghost.
And that would just change our whole process. Once we get to that point, grieving will be unnecessary, I suppose.
Yes, but of course, it's really backwards. Once you change to that point, grieving will be unnecessary.
I see. According to our scientists, the Earth's core is iron nickel sphere. So does that mean that Earthlings have an iron heart? And in your opinion, what is the strangest material you've discovered at the core of a planet in our physical universe? And what did it mean for the life forms there?
The idea, of course, is that you do have iron in your blood, and your blood passes through your heart. In that sense, you could say, yes, you have an iron heart, energetically speaking. The most interesting substance we have found at the core of a physical planet is neutronium. The idea of everything being packed so tightly that it becomes neutral without a positive or a negative charge. The life forms that are connected to that particular world are unlike anything that you might understand and exist on a level of quantum fluctuations.
Certainly is an interesting universe, isn't it?
Yes.
And you would know because you've seen a lot more of it than perhaps we have.
I've seen a little more than you have, but I have seen nothing but a fraction of what exists.
Wow. And is Earth just an amazingly unique planet in terms of all the animals and life that's here? I mean, how do you all view that?
Everything is unique.
Yes.
You are differently unique, yes, than any other world. There are worlds that are somewhat similar to yours. You are similar to them. But again, not identical. Unless you're looking at the idea of parallel realities in which another Earth may be so similar that you can't tell the difference. It might be only different literally by one subatomic particle. Still a different universe. So there can be those that look almost identical where you cannot tell the difference, and there are those that are so radically different you wouldn't even know that it's still considered to be Earth.
You've said on several occasions that everything is made out of love. If that's true, does that mean that even the greatest criminals and sadists are made out of love? And how can love produce such hatred, cruelty, and oppression? Please
Because
explain
love,
how it.
true love, is unconditional, remember? That is the essential vibration of existence. You simply translate that as unconditional love in your language. But the key word is unconditional. Therefore, it's simply a matter of everything being made out of that vibration, harmonizing with that vibration, but because you are experiencing yourself as an individuated consciousness in physical reality that can be built upon filters and belief systems, you don't necessarily experience it that way because you don't necessarily know how to align with it because you haven't been taught how to do so. So even the idea of someone you would consider to be a criminal may be acting, quote unquote, out of love in their true intention, but they may have no way of understanding how to actually express that in an aligned and harmonious way because they don't have the tools. They haven't been taught how to do that. So their actions, to the best of their ability, may be being done out of a distorted sense of love or self-love. But again, it's not necessarily a holistic expression, a unifying and harmonizing expression of the idea of the basic, fundamental, unconditional vibration of existence itself. Because you have the freedom to choose, because things are unconditional, how to express the idea of the love of which you're made, of the vibrational existence of which you are made.
And the idea of bringing heaven to earth. Can you share some more with us about how that relates to the heart and
well, again,
the experience we're having here?
Yes. When you clear out the negative vibrations, the definitions in your belief systems that are not relevant for you as a being in your true sense, then the vibration, message, communication from the higher mind will go to the heart as it does and be reflected to a physical mind that is now clear and transparent and free of any distortions in its belief system. And by doing that, you radiate then to all parts of your body and outward through your electromagnetic aura that vibration of purity and alignment and clarity that comes more directly from the higher mind to the heart to now a physical mind that is a transmitter in a pure sense. Thus then that can, by example, allow others to sense that vibration and if they so choose, start to match that vibration because now they're being given an opportunity to do so. And that can help alleviate the idea of any distortions by at least providing the option of a clear vibration to others in much the same way that the unconditional love of our civilization is offered to you, but you still have to be the ones to agree to harmonize and match that frequency. Thus, our vibration and our sharing is unconditional. It's up to you to match it. And we would not necessarily have been giving information to you for the last 38 of your years had not some of you at least decided to match it and be living examples of that frequency. That doesn't mean that you have to exactly be like us or do exactly as we do. It simply means that you were willing to let go of all those things that aren't truly you, that are your challenges, your themes of exploration in this particular life to get to know yourself from a new point of view, and have let go of the need now to do that because you are now more willing to be your true self just on its own merit. And thus then you have elevated the frequency of your entire world and given many people more of an opportunity, as you align with any source of unconditional love, to allow themselves to align with those sources as well, whatever they may be, whatever works for them, and increase the likelihood and the probability of more people choosing to navigate themselves through different parallel versions of Earth over and over to ones that are more and more reflective, like a mirror, of the vibrational choices you have made to be in harmony and in alignment with the unconditional love of all that is.
Thank you. If you don't eat chocolate or drink wine, how exactly do you celebrate Valentine's Day on Essassani? And do the hybrids go through adolescent crushes like people on Earth do?
We don't celebrate Valentine's Day on Ssani. That's a holiday on your planet. Our children do not go through teenage crushes. These are not relevant questions for my civilization. We are always in love. We are always harmonious. We are always balanced at this point in our evolution. And we do not have the idea of holidays in the same way you do.
Okay. And in your travels, what is the most number of hearts that you've ever encountered in a single being?
5.
And how does that play out in terms of the expression of the being, or what does that mean? I guess it's different for each civilization, but
yes.
I don't know if there's anything you can share with us about the nature of a civilization where people have 5 hearts.
Yes, although the most common we have ever encountered is 3 hearts. This again is representative of the idea of the triad, the trinary function of all that is, the trinity, so to speak, where the vibrations of the hearts bounce off and reinforce each other in a very particular geometric format. It's very stabilizing in that sense for these particular civilizations that we have encountered, where the beings have what you would consider to be 3 hearts. It doesn't mean that they're hearts in the same way that your heart is structured, but they function similarly. The 5 heart beings perform a very specific kind of function with regard to the heart connections being connected to different aspects of nature or spirit. In other words, each heart serves a function of making a connection to a different aspect of their reality. They can actually switch their focus and their concentration from heart to heart to amplify and magnify their connection to different parts of nature and their particular experience of reality. It's quite unique in our experience.
Are there like negative oriented entities in 5th density?
The only level at which you could say that something might in some way be negatively oriented in 5th density is the lower astral realm, where you can have spirits that have unfinished business, may not even know that they're dead, may be harboring and holding on to old belief systems that don't let them to pass on to higher realms of spirit. So you can have that experience in the lower astral realm of non-physical reality, which is 5th density.
Okay, and how do non-physical and quasi-physical beings experience laughter? Do you all laugh? And
Yes, we do. The idea, again, is that it may be experienced as an overwhelming or larger infused sensation that is more expansive than just being contained within the physical parameters of a body. It's like suddenly being filled with light, would perhaps be the closest analogy we can make.
I think you mentioned if you actually started laughing when you're when Darryl's in the channeling state, that it would wake him up or make him come out of the state?
It would cause a disconnection because the laughter would be centering for us. So as we blend more, as the channel matches our frequency more, there can be some slight opportunities for you to experience us having a laugh. But in general, were we to go fully into that state, there might be a disconnection if the channel's vibration is not equal to the level in which we experience that state.
I see.
So we do, in some sense, allow there to be a slight suppression of that when we are doing this and having this connection, because we often laugh, and therefore you would be constantly having an interruption.
I guess you have to learn how to control that, when you're channeling.
Well, it's automatic. Because again, it comes with our intention of delivering information in a certain way, and therefore it's automatically dampened to the degree necessary for us to continue the conversation.
And one person asked, why has Darryl's style of channeling Bashar's energy changed over time? It seems like there is less of an accent, less teeth clicking, less affect. is this because is this because something has changed about Earth's vibration over time and it's gotten easier to transmit to us here? And why did it originally come through the way that it did?
Yes, it's a matter of practice. It's a matter of getting used to a frequency. It's a matter of becoming his version of us, raising his vibration to become more like us, and therefore there's less difference between us and him. Therefore, you would experience less difference. In the beginning, of course, he wasn't used to our energy at all. And therefore, it took some time for him to allow his vibration to rise to the point where you start to lose the differences between us. And we can rely more on the way he exists in his reality to deliver the information in a way that is not filtered, because he is more willing to be open and letting the information come through. And this is part and parcel of the practice of him becoming a teacher himself on his planet, because he is now familiar enough with our principles to be able to do so, knowing that he is delivering relatively accurate information. Because the idea of all channeling is not necessarily for the differences to continue, but for the similarities to become more apparent in your reality, to know that you are just as connected to everything just like we are, and can exhibit that for yourselves. Therefore, you will experience less of a difference. There will be a few things that may remain, so that you understand that there will be a perceived difference on a minor level. But nevertheless, the idea is for fluidity and flow to take over, so that the information can come through, whether from us or from him, to the same degree.
Wonderful.
And the idea of the teeth clicking and other things like that is simply that from time to time, there may be something that we are doing for which there is no translation, and so his body must react to something, and therefore it will be in a non-verbal, non-linguistic fashion that lets you know that something is going on our side that you may not be aware of, that you may not be seeing fully, but the clicking and other affectations may let you know that something is going on that's not being translated fully.
And that's true sometimes when he moves his hands,
Yes.
He's actually mimicking something you're doing on the ship, right?
Yes. If I were now to simply place my hand on a panel, he could ignore it or he could allow himself to go with it, such as this. It just depends on how connected he may be at any given moment in a certain way, whether it's relevant for that expression to be shown, because there are many things we are transmitting to many of you that don't come through verbally. It's also part of the communication that comes through to your unconscious and subconscious self, and representative of a different form and different level of information being downloaded into you to the degree that you are willing to open up to it. So sometimes paying attention to the things that are happening non-verbally can actually be another level of the communication.
Yes, that's true. That's why you said it.
Thank you.
This person's saying they've been longing for contact and they look up at the sky day and night and they wonder if their star family can sense that they want contact. Why isn't it happening? And what do I have to do to connect in with that reality sooner than the rest of humanity?
Stop longing for it and follow the formula. Be where you are. Where you are on Earth is the most important place for you to be. Yes, of course, they're aware of it. But they're also aware of the timing that is necessary that benefits everyone. You can't necessarily run ahead of everyone. That doesn't really serve the purpose you agreed to in having this physical reality. So we understand that the longing is the product of more awareness of the fact that you have connections to many other beings among the stars, but you can't use it as a negative, as if, again, you're missing something. You have to allow yourself to make the connection, be aware of the connection, feel the energy, but bring that energy down to earth and apply it in your life in the most positive, exciting, passionate way. That's what accelerates the probability of having the physical connection sooner than later. But again, drop the insistence and there will be no resistance. Just go with the flow, follow your passion, follow the formula, and allow yourself to experience this as a connection of energy, not a longing, which implies the idea that you're missing something. That something else would be better than where you are now, which it isn't. Where you are now is the most important thing that could be happening.
And haven't you said also that when you're following your passion, when you raise your frequency through letting go of negative beliefs and things like that, ET contact, extra dimensional contact, all those things are a side effect in a sense as your frequency goes up. It's automatic in that regard, right?
It is. But again, watch your belief systems and your definitions. Because sometimes when people hear that, they get excited about doing that only for the purpose of accelerating it, which again brings them back to the idea that they're not living in the moment.
Tricky.
If you say so.
As we move into the window of open contact, will there be a significant increase in new channelers and beings working through them?
Yes.
It's almost like a resurgence of more channeling.
Yes, but in different ways. Again, there are many forms of channeling. So, but the general answer is yes.
Okay. And is there an alien civilization whose political system is a dictatorship?
Yes, of course. Those things exist, and we have discussed some that existed in what you call the past in the ancient Orion systems, which were extremely oppressive and dictatorial. And there are some that still exist out among the stars. It's not like they can basically reach you or affect you in any given way. But yes, they do exist here and there.